What's up with you? So as you guys will learn, I've been teaching a lot of this for a while, but I've been on a lot of different platforms. So now I'm going to work on moving a lot of this content over to the YouTube channel. So work with me as I get a lot of these live streams and other things re-uploaded back over here to the YouTube channel, and I'll have all of it ready for you guys. So this is a little bit of an older one where I was given 10 steps on how to better educate the children and how we can make learning more fun for the children. And if you homeschool, how you can definitely do this. So enjoy. All right, so let's get this started. You already know, drop a like, drop a comment, share the stream, tag some people, put this into some groups. We're going to start learning on how to properly educate the children. So I came up with a 10-step program on how to properly educate the children, because we've been noticing that as we send them to these public schools, as we rely on the school system to educate our children, that we've been running into problems, that our children are leaving high school not knowing anything, that our children are leaving middle school not knowing anything, and then they leave college not knowing anything. They wind up mastering in a degree in college that's not really relevant to what's going on right now. So we need a 10-step program on how to properly educate the children from infancy all the way up until they're able to start their first business, which is not 18. We're waiting too long until they're 18 years old to get them started on these companies. The problem is that their entire time through high school before they graduated, they didn't learn anything about banking. They didn't learn anything about economics. They didn't learn anything about self-love. They didn't know anything about their culture. They didn't know anything. So making money becomes very difficult when you don't know these things. Making money becomes difficult when you have no way to learn about how to get loans, about how to bank money, about how to save money. By the time they leave high school, all they know is they want every pair of Jordans that come out, that they want to mate with multiple women, that they want to mate with multiple women, and that they want to get off to college where they can be free to do the things that are not conducive to them growing as a human being. So I came up with a 10-step program that will prevent all of this. So let's start with tip number 1. Stand the kids up. Something so simple that's left out of the school system is to stand the kids up. These children do not want to sit for 8 hours and listen to something that is not relevant to their lifestyle. They have to sit for 6 to 8 hours learning about Pythagorean's theorem, learning about proper ways to write in English, learning about science that does not pertain to anything that they want to do in life, learning about history that has nothing to do with them, where their history starts off in slavery. And on top of all of this, they have to sit in one spot in a hard chair while they're doing this. Now, imagine if you work in the corporate world. Imagine if you're a secretary. Imagine if you're any of these jobs that require you to sit all day. How difficult it is to sit in the same spot doing the exact same thing all day long. It gets difficult after a while. It plays hard work on the back. It plays hard work on the brain. And on top of it, it's not interesting enough for them to want to sit there all day and be educated upon things that doesn't pertain to their life in the future. You've never applied for a job application where you needed Pythagorean's theorem. You never applied for a job application where you had to learn a lot of the math, a lot of the English, a lot of the science that they've been teaching you. So stand the children up. Force them to walk up to the board to be able to give the answer. Make it a game. Whoever raises their hands first gets to come up to the board and answer it. And we ain't clowning nobody for having the wrong answer. We solve the problem. So if a person that you are teaching has a problem solving the issue that is on the board that you got them coming up to solve, they get encouragement from the other people who are around them. This is the importance of gaining homeschool groups. This is the importance of homeschooling your children so you can get them the proper help from people of their age range. They're not getting clowned for not being able to read something that's on the board. They're getting help for not being able to read something that's on the board. But it starts by just standing the children up. And I'm not saying for 8 to 6 hours that they have to be standing. I'm saying for the most part, stand them up. Get them the yoga ball that they can sit on that's more conducive to the back so the electricity flows to the brain so they're able to properly think. Sitting down for 8 hours a day will not solve the issue, and you are going to bore your kid to death while you're trying to teach them, and they're not going to want to be taught at that point because they're not being educated because they're sitting down. You have to stand them up.
Stand the children up. If there's any teachers in here, make sure y'all like the stream. Make sure y'all share the stream. Make sure y'all tag this into some groups. Make sure you tag some people. If there's any teachers in here, let me give you a lesson. If you are trying to educate the children in the classroom and it seems that they're bored and that they're falling asleep on the desk, stand them up. Make them more active. Get them in tune with the subject that you got going on. Make them help each other versus clowning each other. I've seen now in videos where teachers are allowing the students to roast other students for not knowing answers. That plays hard work on the brain. That makes them never want to come back up to the board to get the wrong answer. They need encouragement from people who are of their age range. So step number one to properly educating the children is something as simple as stand the children up. This is the importance of homeschooling, where you have full control over what's going on. Like the stream, drop some comments, tag some people, share the stream into some groups. We're going to keep it moving. Step number 2, make learning fun. This also goes back to standing the children up. They have to think like this is a game. When they think that this is a game, they're willing to want to play this a little bit more. So how about when they get a correct answer, there's a prize that goes along with it, and it doesn't have to be anything of value. It just has to be a prize. You have to make learning more interesting for the children. If learning is not fun, if learning has nothing that pertains to them, if learning has nothing that stimulates the brain for them, you can't blame the children for not wanting to learn. Sometimes you can't blame the student. You got to blame the teacher. The teacher is the issue. They can sit on Call of Duty Modern Warfare for 8 hours straight. They can sit on any of these other video games. They can sit and watch a movie. They can sit and play on their phone for 8 hours a day, but you're saying that they can't learn in your school for 8 hours a day. The reason that they can't learn is because you're not doing anything to stimulate their brain. You're not making learning fun. Every day they're coming to school expecting the same thing, to sit in the same spot for 8 hours a day and be educated on things that have nothing to do with them. You're not making learning fun at that point. You have to make it fun. You have to make reading fun. You have to catch them at the young age when they're still absorbing everything and make this a game for them. Make it fun. When you teach them math, teach them with money. When it comes to science, bring them outside. When it comes to, I don't care if it's summer or wintertime, everything has to deal with science. Everything is environmental science. Everything is biology. Everything is of the world. So you need to get the children outside a little bit more. Keeping them inside of that classroom, inhaling other people's CO2 all day long. Sitting inside of that classroom, not being able to move all day long. It becomes stagnant and it gets very boring. You have to make learning fun in order for your children to want to learn. Stop blaming the students for the reason that they're not learning, and start looking at the teachers. Start looking at the principals. Go to the parent-teacher conferences if your child is in school and get them to thinking more about making learning a little bit more fun. For 400 years, black people have been trying to be educated in a way that the white people want us to be educated, and it doesn't work for us. Then they diagnose your kid with ADD. Then they put your kid in a special ed program where he no longer is learning anything at the pace that he could be learning. Now he thinks something is wrong with him because some white person told him he has attention deficit disorder, but he could sit on a video game for 8 hours a day. He could sit on his phone for 8 hours a day. He could conversate with his friend for 8 hours a day, but it's interesting. So you have to find a way to make learning a little bit more fun for the children. Then the children will want to learn every day. They'll come to school every day with a more upbeat attitude when they know that they're about to have some fun with the way that they're learning today. When they know, yo, homie, look, I got more stars than you. Yo, look, you got to be able to do this before you could talk to me about anything. Now they're bragging about their ability to learn. So it makes learning fun every single day that they come, and then switch it up. Switch it up. Sometimes have a different kid come up and teach the classroom. Sometimes have your nieces, have your nephews come over, and they're going to teach today. Today they'll be the teacher, and switch as the weeks go on. And it'll make learning a lot more fun for the kids, and the kids will want to learn more. Make sure that y'all like the stream. Make sure that y'all tag some people into the stream. Make sure that y'all share the stream. Make sure that you drop a comment. Make sure you share this into some groups. Make learning fun for your children, and stand the children up while they are learning, and I guarantee you they will begin to learn at a more rapid rate, and it won't take them 18 years to learn English, science, or history. And make sure that they're learning about their history. Because if the history isn't pertaining to them, don't expect them to be amp and learning this history, because it has nothing to do with them. Their history didn't start in slavery. They had culture that pre-exists races on this planet. So If you start to teach them like this, like, yo, we were the ones that made the combs. We were the ones that made the tweezers. We were the ones that invented paved roads. We are the ones that invented the air conditioner. We are the ones that invented the heaters. You'll start getting more black inventors out of your children than in wanting to be basketball, football players, or any of this entertainment stuff. Yes, that makes money, but there's breaks to this. Other things make money 24/7. Let me not move too far ahead. Drop a like, drop a comment, share the stream. We're talking about how to educate the children better. Educate the children better. We can't blame the youth for being out here shooting at each other when you're not giving them anything better to do. Don't tell little homie to get off the corner from selling drugs if you don't have a way to replace that money for him. And the way we can start them by replacing that money is teaching them young about things that will make them money. They're not stupid. These kids aren't retarded. They want money. They want a bag. You see it by the way that they want to dress. You see it by the cars that they want to drive. These kids are about $1, and they're never too young to learn how to make $1, and they could be helping you. But you're pigeonholing them, and you're holding them back in these public schools by not teaching them how to earn an income at a very young age. If you get them at a young age like the Jewish kids got their kids at a young age, then you will see an incline in the way that black people are able to thrive in their community. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Make sure that y'all share the stream. Teach self-love and loyalty. Teach self-love and loyalty. I don't care what race you are, your child needs to be loyal to their race. They need to be able to build an economic structure with their race. The reason that black men are killing black men is because they don't feel that they owe any type of loyalty to their own. The reason that black women do not like black women is because they've never been taught to have a certain level of loyalty towards their own. You don't see this in the Asian community. I'm not saying it never happens, but you don't see this in the Asian community. You don't see this in the Jewish community. You don't see this in the Italian community. You don't see this in any of the other communities but ours, because we're the only ones that's not taught to love ourselves. If a black man walks through his hood at night, he feels he's in danger. Yet the Arab can leave with thousands of dollars out of his corner store every single night and not fear for his life. White people can walk their dog through your neighborhood in the middle of the night and not fear for their life. But as black people, we fear for our lives against our own people because we're never taught self-love in school. We're taught that our history started in slavery. We're taught that we could trace our ancestry back to down south in America, when we have culture that pre-exists America by far. Before anyone settled in America, we was already in our second or third golden age in Africa. That's the importance of learning this self-love. Do you know that black women's hair is where they release their pheromones, and that is what attaches them and makes them more attractive to people of their own race? But when they're destroying their hair with the perms, when they're destroying their hair with these white hair care products that they selling us from the Indian stores that have to supply us with beauty, aka the beauty supply shop, that they are destroying their hair. They got us thinking that like porn stars, where women now have to shave off all of their pubic hair, not realizing that that's where they're releasing the pheromones to attract more black men to them. And you wonder why black men are marrying outside of their race, because our race has had their hair destroyed. And that's where they release the pheromones that attach races to another race. The other races don't have to go through this. So this is the importance of teaching self-love, that your natural hair is beautiful, because the corporate world is going to call your natural hair unsanitary. People are going to tell you that you're nappy-headed, and they don't understand that we have more strands of hair than anybody on the planet. That the reason that our hair is coiled is because we come from an area that releases more UV radiation, and the radiation gets a chance to diffuse through the coils before it hits the skull, driving into the brain and driving us crazy. So it's actually a plus that we have this kinky hair. It's actually a plus that we have this nappy hair. It's actually a plus where we're not destroying our hair with the blue magic, with all of these other chemicals that they're putting in the products. Petroleum. Let's talk about petroleum for a minute. This leads to self-love. How many of y'all seen the petrol truck? The petrol truck delivering gas to the gas stations. Petroleum is a solidified version of the gas that you're putting in your car. If you was in the UK and you were selling petroleum jelly on the street like people hustle bud on this side, then you would be charged with a terrorist crime, because petroleum jelly is usually wrapped around bombs because it's super flammable. So when you're rubbing your children down with this petroleum oil, when you're putting products that have petroleum oil in your hair, you are destroying your hair. A doctor was doing experiments on different skulls from different races, and they wonder, what are these black dots on the black woman's skulls? And they said, it's okay, that's just from the perms. You'll see this on all of them. It's from the hair care products. You'll see this on all of them. It's not natural for our skulls to be tainted by the products that people who are not of our race are selling us. And then when I tell you that my hair care product is $12, you tell me I'm too expensive. But you'll go pay $8 for something that's going to kill your hair off. I'm trying to show you the importance of keeping your natural hair. I'm trying to show you the importance of having that hair because it will attach you back to your race. It will have black men attracted to black women again when we are not destroying our hair. This is the facts. Self-love and loyalty, something else that needs to be taught in the school system. This is the importance of homeschooling your children. Make sure that you drop a like. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure that you share the stream into some groups. Make sure that you tag some people into this. This is very important when it comes to educating the black children. Let's get on to the next step. We're on a 10-step program. If you missed this, the stream will always be saved. You could go back and catch up on the ones that you missed. Right now, tag some people, tag this into some groups, share the streams. A 10-step program on how to properly educate the black children. 10-step program. Next step. We need more black male teachers, because when you think about it, your only black male teacher for the most part has been your gym teacher that doesn't really have to teach you anything educational. He's forcing you to go into the basketball game. He's forcing you to go into the football league. He's going into the baseball league. These are not the type of teachers that we need. We need more black teachers teaching young black boys. These black boys will respond better to the manliness of a black man teaching them. They're not going to feel like they could get over on me the same way they could get over with that 22-year-old white woman that knows nothing. Knows absolutely nothing about how to educate young black boys. So yes, they're going to be verbal. Yes, they're going to be aggressive towards somebody who is not from their own race. They need more black male teachers. My son sees me as a black male teacher. How many of y'all had black male teachers? We had little to none. Down south, you get a little bit luckier because there are more black people in general, but you still don't get many black male teachers. We can tame the young boys better. We can suppress that anger a little bit more. We can control that testosterone a little bit more. But when you ask 22-year-old Sally from the suburbs to be able to tame, to be able to defend, to be able to educate this young black boy, he doesn't see anything he can relate to. But when I tell him, young homie, I've been through the same thing that you've been through. Yo, I know they've made learning not cool. Yo, I know they've made these things not fun. But I'm going to show you how to have fun and learn at the same time. You like True Religions, right? You like Dior, right? You like Balmain, right? You like Gucci, right? I'm going to show you how to get to a bag, little homie, if you just rock with me a little bit longer. I know this math ain't that interesting, but when I compare this math to money, when I compare this chart to the graphs that you need when you in your business, to be able to make the money to dress the way you want to drive the cars that you want to live in the property that you want to be able to grow the food the way that you want to, I promise you this will get a little bit more interesting. Just bear with me as we got to get through the bases of this. This is the importance of having black male teachers. That we know what the little homies is going through. We can see when their mind is starting to drift. We know when they came to school one day and something's going on with them. When their mother is yelling at them a little too much. When there's beef going on within the family. When the mother and father are not in cahoots. When they're clashing heads inside the household. So when little homie come depressed the next day, I can tell my student teacher, yo, take over real quick while I pull little homie to the side and get his mind right. Get him back into the game for today. No matter what you got going on, little homie, you got to break the generational curse. You got to be the first black millionaire in your family. This will stop a lot of the arguing. This will stop a lot of the dissension within your family when you're able to be the first black millionaire and now you can build from you. You can go back and teach your elders this information that I'm giving you because I ain't teaching you nothing you can't use. The importance, again, of homeschooling. Share the stream. Drop a like. Drop a comment. Tag some people. Share this into some groups. We're talking about 10 steps on how to properly educate the black children because we're complaining about the public schools not doing a good enough job for us. I'm sorry if y'all can't see the board. Don't worry. New cameras is on the way. New board is on the way where y'all be able to screenshot these things. Where you guys will be able to go on here. And I always save the stream. So don't worry if you miss any of the steps. You will be able to go back afterwards and be able to access all of this information because I always save the streams for you. Let's go to the next one. Teach more life skills and trades. I'm sick of black people going to be psychiatrists. I'm sick of black people going to college to be black historians. I'm sick of black people going to do everything that will not get you paid in the long run. A plumber will be forever needed. A person who works on cars will be forever needed. A person who works on computers will be forever needed. Somebody who works in the music will be forever needed. Engineers will be forever needed. We have to stop going to college for things that do not make sense and are not going to be conducive to the area that we live in. We're forcing our children to go to college, become $60,000 in debt in a field that black people will not pay them for. So now they wind up working at CVS, they wind up working at Walmart, they wind up working at McDonald's, being cashiers with a master's degree. We have to stop this kind of nonsense. Trade school is much cheaper. It learns on-the-job training. And as a person who has to hire people for business, I know if I see you worked in this field for 3 to 4 years and you've been hands-on, don't tell me you read a book on how to fix cars. Don't tell me you read a book on how to unclog pipes. Don't tell me you read a book on health. Don't tell me you read a book on construction. Let me know the construction site you worked on. Let me know the toilets and the plumbing that you worked on. Let me know the biology that you've been able to work with. Hands on. I'm more likely to hire somebody who's been hands on than somebody who spent 12 years in the classroom reading out of a book. Trade school, much more effective, much more hands-on for young black children. Young black children are hands-on people. We don't like to sit and learn out of a book. Don't hand me a packet, tell me to do the packet, to give me a test on this motherfucker at the end of the week and expect me to be educated by this. I can't be educated by this. Young black boys are active. Young black boys like hands-on. Young black boys like to be taught individually. And this is the point of having black men being their teachers, because I know their lingo. I know what you're listening to. I know the music that you like. I know the rappers that you like. I know all of the different things that you like. I can speak to your spirit, little homie. That young white woman from the suburbs, her son might not be as hands-on. He might be able to learn from a packet. He might be able to learn by something that's off the board. But a young black student, he might not need to come up to the board and write something. He might need a little bit more time than little Johnny. And I'm saying that black men, we have the patience because we were in the same situation as these young black boys who need to be learning. So they need life skills and trades. They don't need Abraham Lincoln. They don't need George Washington. They don't need Christopher Columbus. They don't need to know any of this because that's not going to make them no money in the future, and they're focused on a bag. And little homie, I don't care how young you are, I'm trying to get you to a bag. You told me you want to cut hair? All right, in my classroom, I'm going to have a section with dolls where I can work on your edge-ups. Okay, you want to work on cars? I'm going to build a facility to where I could bring the young black boys in to work on cars now, to learn how to change tires now, to learn how to work on transmissions now. Even if I have to get somebody from outside of my race who's more efficient at this to be able to teach the young black boys. Because it's a well-known fact that Spanish people work great on cars. So I might have to bring one of my Spanish partners in to be able to educate the young black boys on how to fix cars more efficiently. And I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no issue with that. But I'm going to make sure that this young black boys know how to get a bag by the time he's 12, 13, and 14 years old. I'm not waiting until he's 18 to send him off to college to get $60,000 in debt to work at CVS or Walmart as a cashier making $10 an hour. No, little homie, I'm going to show you how to thrive on your own businesses, to hire your own people, to make your money circulate throughout the community so it makes it better for all the up-and-coming children who are going to work in your place of business. Learn more life skills, learn more trades. Like the stream, share the stream, tag some people, throw this into some groups. This is how to properly educate the black children. A 10-step process. I know I keep saying it, but I keep seeing more people come into the stream, so I gotta say it as they come in. If you missed anything, the streams will always be saved on my page or on Black People's Solution, where I have a vending site where everybody can share their skills and their trades. Again, the importance of having both. If you do nails, if you do feet, if you do hair, men, if you cut hair, if you are a studio engineer, if you are a motivational speaker, if you sell your own jewelry, if you make your own slushies, if you make whatever it is that you do in business, I made a group for us to be able to vend our own products through us. Black People's Solution. Get over there. Let's go on to the next step. Teach economics early. Early. A lot of us like to Google Gaga our kids for way too long. Way too long. When I teach my son math, I teach him with money. I teach him with money because this is the language that he speaks. When I teach a little homie economics, I don't go back to math and Pythagorean theorem and division and multiplication. Those are things you already learned. Now I'm going to show you what a dollar bill. Oh, you want to learn percentages? Oh, it's $300,000 down on this property. So that means for a 10% down payment, you got to put down $30,000 in order for you to get this 18-acre property or this 20-acre property or this 30-acre property. So now once you acquire this property, what do you plan on doing with this property to recoup some of this money that you spent because you put $30,000 down? Do you have a plan to make the $30,000 work for you, and how fast? Can you get the house paid off within a 5-year period versus a 30-year period? Is this property going to be conducive to the field that you work in? Because if not, you can downgrade to a smaller property and be able to rent it out to people, and you will still make your money every single month. Bank the profit, pay back the loan that you have. You will be better off. It all depends on what field you want to be in. So stop Google Gaga-ing your kids like they're retarded, like they can't start learning economics at 7 and 8 years old. I teach economics at 7 and 8 years old. My son said he wanted to own the ice cream truck. So I showed him the dividends between how much it's going to cost for you to re-up on your ice cream and how much it's going to cost for you to make a profit back off of that ice cream that you want to sell on your ice cream truck. He's not retarded. He's not slow. He's only 7 years old. And I don't feel like he's so stupid that I can't teach economics to him. Yes, I could teach economics to him. Kids speak by the bag. When they're listening to their music, they're hearing they want to get a bag. When they're listening to all the things they listen to, they want to get a bag. So don't think just because your son is 6, 7, 8, 9 years old that he don't want the bag too. He wants the bag too, especially if he's a young black man. Some of these young black men have single mothers who are struggling. They want to find a way to make money to be able to help their mother out. They're never too young to be able to get this information. Look, I'm not going to keep on telling you go to school while your mother is struggling. You're not going to understand what I'm saying because you feel I don't understand what you're saying. I feel you, homie. Your mom's needs help. And there's no other man in the household to give your mama no help. So I'm going to show you a way to get to a bag without having to sell drugs and destroy your own community. I'm going to show you how to do this. I catch their attention right away. Antennas go up right away. Oh, homie, you like Gucci? You like that $300 belt? You like that $200 shirt? I'm going to show you how to be able to wholesale buy the materials to make a shirt just like this and resell it back to your community. How many of y'all know that the red bottoms, these is bloody shoes from Cardi B, in case you didn't know, the red bottoms, the Christian Louboutins that people are wearing, that's from a black man who decided, okay, you guys like this material, you like this design, you like these people, I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to go and buy the exact same material, and I'm going to resell it to black people as a luxury sneaker. And black people have been buying it, but the sad part is he's so scared to show his face because the moment you know that this is a black man selling you the red bottoms, you're going to want a discount. The importance of teaching economics early to tell your young black child that he does not need to take a discount from black people if they don't want to pay him enough. There's people all over the world that are willing to pay you for your skills and talents, whether you paint, whether you make music, whether you sell anything that you have to sell. Speak money to the children. The children understand the bag. I don't care how young they are, the children understand the bag. Black men, black women, they understand a bag. Shorty, you like that Coach bag? Yo, you like them do you like them Christian Louboutins? You like them red bottoms? Yo, shorty, you don't have to scam one of your own people out of no money. Actually, you shouldn't be fucking with a nigga who's making less money than you. When y'all come together, y'all should already have an economic basis to where now you're thriving by being together. Not you're living off of the man, not you're living off of the woman. We're thriving when we came together because both of our black parents been teaching us economics since we was 7. So now we know how to work together. Now we know how to get this bag together. Okay, shorty, what you do? You do the nails? Okay, so all these bird-ass bitches that's been coming after me and been in my inbox, I'm going to direct them to my nail company. All them bird-ass niggas that be coming to you that's in your inbox, direct them to my haircut company. Direct them to my holistic healing company. Direct them to my health consulting. Direct them over to my vegetable stand where they can learn to have proper food. This is the importance of teaching economics to your children early. So when my son meets another black woman, one of y'all daughter, trust me, he's going to be in a position to make your daughter's life that much better. And if you taught your daughter to make her life that much better, when they come together, we're talking about power couples at 17 to 18. Imagine if kids are meeting their high school sweethearts and they already have $1 million dreams at 14, 15 years old. We're waiting too long until they're 18. These kids aren't stupid. They're ready for the economics early. So teach your kid economics early. I see new people coming in. Drop a like, drop a comment, tag some people, share this into some groups, share this over to your page, share the stream. We're going over a 10-step process on how to teach black children to thrive in life. Not that public school bullshit where you leave not knowing how to fill out a job application. Not that public school bullshit where they tell you got to go to college before you can start making over $100K a year. We're trying to get our kids into that tax bracket by the time they're 18. So by the time your kid is 18, he's already in a $100,000 tax bracket and he's moving up from there. Or she's moving up from there. Black women are the most educated on planet Earth. They have a hard time finding a job being overqualified. They have a hard time finding a job because their hair is considered unsanitary, so they have to go and get the weave. They have to go and appear like they're somebody outside of their race in order to get into the corporate world. But if she was to start her own business, if we were to teach black people economics on how to be loyal to your own people, where they had black male teachers early on in life, I promise you it will change the game more than marching, than burning down your community, than going through all of this. The hell with the religion, the hell with all of that. They need to learn how to get to a bag early. We can teach them the culture as they go on. And it doesn't matter what culture it is. Teach it to them as they go on. And as they learn economics, they will learn how to blend with their own people, spend with their own people, build with their own people. Drop a like, drop a comment, share the stream. On to the next step. Teach culture early. People don't understand that culture makes you money. In the Asian community, their culture is nails. Their culture is doing hair. Their culture is doing feet. Their culture is selling you hair. Their culture has a whole bunch of things that leads back to them making money. So many black people have Buddha inside of their household. Those are Asian people that are sculpting those sculptures that you're putting inside of your house to get your feng shui a little bit better, to get your education a little bit better, to get the tranquility in your house a little bit better. Those are Asian people who are using their culture to make them money because they're able to sell their culture back to their people. So you have to teach culture early. Weaving baskets still make money. You notice Easter every year, they have baskets of things that they are selling to people with the eggs inside of it. Now, if black people knew how to weave those baskets, we would now be able to fill those baskets with wholesale company products and be able to sell those baskets back to black people. That is a way to thrive off of your culture. If you thrive off of the Egyptian culture, if you thrive off of the Christian culture, if you thrive off of the Muslim culture, no matter what religion or creed that you feel you are attached to, sell it back to your people. If you're a Hebrew, sell Hebrew clothing. If you got the Egyptian vibe, sell the Egyptian statues. If you have the black power vibes, sell the necklaces with the black fist. Sell the black, yellow, and green. Sell the belts. Make everything that you can that pertains back to your culture. Sell the hair care products for the brothers that have locks and the sisters that have locks. Sell the afro combs for the black women that are trying to get their natural hair back and they need combs to be able to have their afros. Sell the silk comforters back to the black women. Sell the silk pillowcases back to the black women. Sell the bonnets back to the black women. When the coronavirus started, there should have been black women making dashiki masks, making the different kind of hair things that black women would have needed, and you could have thrived off of the coronavirus. I've made more money during the coronavirus than I made without it because I attacked my culture specifically. I'm not looking for any race outside of my own to spend the money because black people last year spent $3 trillion, sixth wealthiest nation on planet Earth. On planet Earth, black people in America is the sixth wealthiest nation on planet Earth. $3 trillion we spent last year. From now on, I'm asking for a portion of that, and I'm not feeling bad about it. You need to get your kids not feeling bad about selling their culture back to their people. And not even their people. White people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for those African masks. White people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the wooden statues that are being carved. Ancient arts that are forgotten. When you do your DNA test and you give them your DNA and you find out what culture you came from, learn what that culture did. Did they specialize in herbs? Did they specialize in healing? Did they specialize in braiding? Did they specialize in whatever it is they specialized in? Tap back into that, sell it back to your people. Chinatown is full of Chinese buying Chinese products. And then they gather in the other Asians who follow the same culture as the Chinese. These are the facts. Sell your culture back to your people. If you notice what black people like, sell that to them so they don't have to go to the Arab where the money leaves the community, where they don't have to go to the Asians where the money leaves the community, where they don't have to go to the Indians where the money leaves the community. Sell that back to them themselves. Find out the fruits and vegetables that black women like to cook with. Find out the herbs and spices that black women like to cook with. Find out the natural remedies that black people go to the most and sell that back to them. That is the importance of teaching culture. Make sure you tag some people. Make sure that you like the stream. Make sure you tag this into some groups. Make sure you share the stream to your page. We're going over a 10-step process on how to educate the black children without asking for a handout from massa. We don't need no handout from massa. Massa don't have to give us nothing. We have to take back what is ours. And don't forget that if you skipped any of these steps, I always save the stream on my page as well as Black People's Solution, a vending group that I made for black people to be able to thrive off of selling their own products, their own culture back to black people. I don't care what religion you're in. I don't care what section you come from. There is going to be somebody on there selling products that pertain to you. And we are going to build a network to where we can now use each other to thrive off of each other. Where the black children learn up, and by the time that they're 18, they're already in $100,000 tax bracket and thriving. We're not waiting until they're 18 no more. We're not waiting for them to graduate high school no more, where they only learn about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and all this other nonsense that never plays a part in their life other than tying them back down. 10-step process on how to educate the black children. Let's go on to the next step. Teach true health early. The black man is lucky to live past 45 years old, and the only way he's able to do it is with a black woman that knows holistic healing. We have to stop that kind of nonsense. We have to teach our kids that McDonald's is not the way. Black women, teach your daughters early how to get into that kitchen and on how to make proper meals that will force their man to thrive. A lot of black women are mad at their man for not having the drive, for not having the willpower, for not having the strength to get up off of their ass to go do nothing. But you're feeding him 4 times a day the worst meals that you could possibly give him. You forgot to learn about herbs. You forgot to get out into that garden and grow the tomato for that black man. You forgot to force that black man to make sure he has a salad. You forgot to force that black man to make sure his health is up to par. Black men, if they see a larger, I'm not going to say fat, if they see a larger woman, they have something to say. But you black women are quick to accept black men who are larger, and you guys are okay with it. No longer should we be okay with that. The second that black women say we need a man that's in shape, the second that black women begin to love the 6-pack again, the second that black women be able to love the shape of that strong black man again, is the second that black men will take their health more serious. But right now, y'all giving y'all secrets and y'all goodies. I got my son over here, so I can't say what I want to. Y'all giving out y'all secrets and y'all goodies to men who are not in shape to be able to deserve it. And then you think there's a problem with you when you can't get pregnant. No, there's a problem with that man's veins being clogged, so his penis can't get hard as often as it needs to. His sperm isn't at the strength that it needs to be for him to be able to have a child with you. He doesn't know his blood type because he hasn't gone to the hospital since he left his mama's crib. So y'all don't even know if y'all blood types is clashing and aborting the baby before the baby can even thrive, because every blood type can't have a baby with every blood type. It will automatically cause abortions. When people from certain blood types mate with people from certain blood types, and now women are discouraged. Now women are depressed because you think there's something wrong with your womb. You think there's something wrong with your eggs. You think there's something wrong with his sperm. And the truth is that you guys had a blood type that was never going to allow you to make children in the first place. This is the importance of teaching true health. Protein. Everybody's so quick to talk about protein. You want to eat the protein bars. You want to make sure your child has a balance of protein. Forgetting that protein only comes from plants. The reason that you're eating meat that has protein is because you're eating an animal who was a vegan. You ate an animal who lived off nothing but the greenery of the earth. So he got his protein from the grass. He got his protein from the red clover that he ate. He got his protein from the dandelion that he ate. He got his protein from the herbs that he ate. Now when black people season their food, their goal is to make that meat taste as much like a plant as possible. And the reason that we don't eat white people's cooking is because it tastes too much like dead animal flesh. It doesn't taste like the protein that we need, which is the plants that we are seasoning with it. Basil, a plant. Thyme, a plant. Oregano, a plant. Hot sauce comes from a plant. Peppers, a plant. Onions, a plant. Garlic, a plant. We put all of this on this dead animal flesh to get it to taste more like a plant. So eat more plants. And I'm not telling everybody to go vegan by tomorrow. That's non-logical. Pick 3 days out of the week where you spend the day eating nothing but fresh greens and fresh fruits. Get down to the farmer's market where they have the organic stuff. Start to grow your own where we can now share with each other. I am building a fruit forest in my backyard where we have peaches, where we have plums, where we have tomatoes, where we have cucumbers, where we have peppers, where we have onions, where we have scallops, where we have scallions, where we have everything that we need to be able to season our food properly without it being tainted and poisoned by chemicals. So now I'm able to give black people food that has the proper amount of minerals in it, because they mainly focus on NPK. I'm not going to get too far into this. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium is what they focus in when they're growing their food, forgetting that the body is made of 102 minerals. So I add seaweed, I add bladder wax, I add kelp as an amendment to my garden, so now my vegetables are able to uptake the full 120 minerals. So when you get a pepper from me, it's not going to taste like a pepper you got from the store. When you get a strawberry from me, it's not that big ass, tasteless ass strawberry that you're getting from the store. When you get raspberries, blueberry, these are all things that's growing right in my backyard. My son walks in the backyard for breakfast and he's picking strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries every morning. And this is how you thrive, back off of health. Black women, I need y'all to get back into health, because without y'all, the black man will never listen. We need you, because you are cooking most of the meals for the black children. We need you to stop stopping at McDonald's. We need you to stop stopping at Chick-fil-A. We need you to stop stopping at Burger King and Wendy's to feed your children. Because then you wonder why your children's not thriving in school and why he's not up to par with the rest of the children who are eating this every day. Keep them away from the sweets. Keep them away from the sugar, because they conveniently place a store called the convenience store right on the corner, right by the schools that the kids got to go to, so they can stop, get their Starburst, get their Mambas, get their chips, get their quarter waters, get their 50-cent juices right out of the store before they go to school. And then you wonder why they studied last night, and by the morning they forgot everything that you studied with them with, because you've been giving them nothing but sugar in the morning, and now they can't thrive. Then you want to blame them for not sitting still. Then you want to blame them for talking back to the teachers, but you've had this nigga on a sugar diet for all the 8 to 10 years of his life. So yes, the teacher's having a hard time with him because you loaded this nigga up on sugar, aka crack, and sent him to school. Let me show you how dangerous that sugar is. Coke and crack is only one ingredient in part, and that's a baking soda, which is a starch. A starch registers in the body as a sugar. So add sugar to cocaine and it makes it 300 times more addictive than cocaine itself. You wind up with 300 more times jail time off of crack than you do cocaine, and the only extra ingredient is a starch, which the body registers as a sugar. And if you ever notice that crackheads have a high sugar diet, because the sugar is going to give them the same rush that the crack gave them. So when you wonder why your child is acting like a fucking crackhead, that's because you've been feeding them crack with the sugar that you've been giving them. Stay away from that. And I'm not telling you cold turkey your children. I'm not saying they don't deserve a sweet every now and then. Get back into the kitchen. Learn how to teach health again. Learn how to make raw chocolate. Learn how to make raw sweets. Make your own pastries for the children to eat every single day. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. We just have to be able to stay in our relationships long enough for us to be able to give the women a break, to be able to be a woman again and get back into that kitchen. To get back into that kitchen and start to mess around again. And she will be able to gain herself back. She will have the love back for herself. She will have dignity back for herself, where she's able to now be the woman that you wanted her to be. Where she will now be able to teach and feed the children the way that they need to be taught and need to be fed. They will be able to give the holistic teachings back to the children when they see mama back in the garden, when they see papa back in the garden, where they see grandma back in the garden, where they see grandpa back in the garden. These are the facts. I see new people coming in. Like the stream, tag some people, share this to your page, share this into some groups. If you missed any of the other tips on how to educate black children, I always save the stream to my page. It's always in Black People's Solution is the name of the group on Facebook. We ain't with the complaints, we're with the solutions. Solutions. And the solutions ain't marching. The solutions ain't holding up no signs. The solutions ain't burning down your own community. The solutions is thriving off of the community that you have. Sell black products back to black people. people is the name of the game. So let's go on to the next step. Teach beyond their grade level. Teach beyond their grade level. Just because your child is getting homeschooled and you feel he's at the age of a first grader doesn't mean you need to teach him as a first grader. Your child might be a little bit more advanced. Remember, you can also skip steps as long as they learn how to read, how to write, how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, how to divide, how to solve word problems. They are going to be able to thrive in life. When they learn biology, they are able to thrive in life. When they know that the microbacteria that's inside of the soil is what's giving the soil the food to grow the plants, they are able to thrive in life. When they know about the minerals that are in the ground that each plant pertains to, they are able to thrive in life. Women who are suffering with heavy headaches during menstrual cycles, there's a little red plant that they call a weed that grows outside in your backyard that they call a weed. It is called crimson red clover. Crimson red clover. If you go and you make a tea out of this red clover and you feed it to your woman, you can stop headaches during her menstrual cycles overnight. You can stop heavy bleeding in her periods overnight. You can stop the cramps in her period overnight. Dandelions, another thing they tell you to cut inside of your backyard because they consider it a weed. You can also eat the leaves that come off of the dandelion plant. If your baby happens to be stung by a bee, they can now rub the dandelion into their hands until their hands are wet with the juices from the dandelion. Place it anywhere that they have a bite. It will take the pain and the irritation away in 10 minutes. This is the importance of teaching beyond the grade level. We feel that just because our kids are at a certain age, they're also at a certain grade level. That is not the truth. We're waiting too long to educate our children on things that they could be educated on much earlier. Much earlier they could be educated on these subjects. Like the stream, tag some people in the stream, share the stream, tag this into some groups. We're talking about a 10-step process on how to properly educate the black children. Teach them above their grade level. Just because they're just learning math doesn't mean you can't squeeze a hard problem in there every now and then. Just because they're learning multiplication doesn't mean you can't give them double-digit multiplication every now and then inside of there. Tease their brains with things that are a little bit past them. Tease their brains with things that are a little bit past them. If you want a nice house, you should drive in areas that have nice houses so you have it in your brain the type of household that you want to buy. Same thing with your children. Teach them a little bit above their grade level, then back up. Then teach them a little bit above their grade level, and then back up. And then teach them a little bit above their grade level, and then back up. And then take them full steam ahead. And force them to dive into the deep end of the water before they're ready. And when you force them to do that, they will adjust. Stop thinking our children are so stupid. Stop thinking our children are so retarded that they can't learn a little bit past their age level. Just because my child is 7 does not mean that he has to learn at the same rate that another 7-year-old child has to learn at. He might be a little bit ahead of them. So I'm going to teach him a little bit ahead of them. And by the time my child is 12, and by the time your child is 12, they will be on 2 completely different levels. Because you decided to teach your child as a 12-year-old. I decided to teach my child as a 15-year-old at 12. Stop being afraid to teach them above their grade level. They're not stupid. They're not retarded. They are a sponge. They will soak this information up as they get it. They will begin to love this information. They will be able to thrive off of this information. And this is how you get black youth to be able to get more advanced at a much quicker age, because we suffer with much bigger problems. Some of us suffer with not having a father in the household. Some of us suffer with not having either parent inside of the household. I was raised in foster care where I didn't have either one of my biological parents in the household. So when they punished me unjustly for things that I did not do, just because they knew they weren't my parents and they could get away with it, I used it to my advantage to study the dictionary. I used it to my advantage to exercise. I used it to my advantage to study the encyclopedia. I used it to my advantage to make sure I was ahead of the children who were my age, because I knew I had to get the fuck out before other children who were of my age but were not of my race. We are the only race that kick our children out at 18 years old and feel after 18 you are an adult. No other person thinks like that and their children are able to thrive. I'm not kicking my child out at no 18 years old, because at 18 years old you are still a child. No matter how much information you have, you are still my child and you still have room to gain. You still have things that I need to teach you. You are still a teenager. A 18. You are a teenager. Stop kicking the children out at 18 years old. There's still more for them to get from you. There's still more for them to get from grandma. There's still more for them to get from grandpa. And if you have them in public school, they don't barely know how to fill out a job application at 18. But you want to kick them out the household. Only black people do this. And that's why black people suffer with the problems we suffer with when it's not necessary. We have to focus more on our children, making it a step ahead of us. And we're going to have to sacrifice the Gucci belts. We're going to have to sacrifice those purses. We're going to have to sacrifice those sneakers. We're going to have to sacrifice that Bentley. We're going to have to sacrifice that Benz. We're going to have to sacrifice some of the things that we wanted in our life to make sure that our children are able to thrive. And then by the time he's 20 to 22 years old, now he's able to take care of you. And right now we can't do that because we're waiting until they're 18 years old to give them proper education on economics, self-love, self-empowerment, having black teachers, thriving with your culture. We wait until they're above the age of 18 and they feel lost because they feel they've wasted 18 years of their life learning things that can't get them to this. These young kids want a bag. They want a bag. They don't care about any of this other shit. They want to start making money earlier because they need it. They want to help their mama out. And I appreciate that from young black men who feel that they want to carry the torch at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old to help my mama out. When they come to the barbershop, stop kicking them out. Let them sweep the hair. When they come to your beauty supply shop, ask them to pass you the products. Give them a little bit of money at the end of every week. Teach them the dedication of showing up on time. Teach them the self-love within their people. Teach them to sell their culture back to their people. Stop kicking these young black men out because you feel that they're lost. These black men are not lost. They're looking for a way out. And every time you close the door on them, don't get mad at them for opening a worse door. So if you close the door on them in your barbershop, if you close the door on them in your movie and the person that shoots the video, if you close the door on them in your studio, if you close the door on them in your construction company, don't be mad at them for opening the door to drug dealing. Don't be mad at them for opening the door to shooting. Don't be mad at them for opening the door to robbing their own people. This is what happens when you're not teaching them at a young age how to thrive off of the community that they live in. Let's go on to the next step. Like the video, tag some people into the video, share the stream, tag this into some groups. We're talking about a 10-step process on how to properly educate the black children. If you missed any of the other steps, don't worry about that. I always save the stream to my page and to Black People's Solution on Facebook. We don't complain, we come with the solutions. The hell with the complaining. The hell with asking Massa for reparations. The hell with asking Massa for a handout. The hell with all of this. All of this will change when we start to teach our youth how to thrive at an earlier age to get them into that $100,000 to $200,000 tax bracket by the time they're 18 years old and not a minute after. And not a minute after. Tag some people, like the video, share the stream, share this into some groups. Let's go to the next step. The next and last step is don't teach against your child's interest. Every kid doesn't want to be a biologist. Every kid doesn't want to be a scientist. Every kid doesn't want to be an English major. Every kid doesn't want to be a psychiatrist. Every kid doesn't want to be a doctor. Every kid doesn't want to be a police officer. Every kid doesn't want to be a firefighter. But when we generalize the education, that all the kids have to learn this education in order to work in this field, that is false teachings. If they want to get into the construction, you need to start teaching him measurements early. You need to start teaching him that stud should be every 16 inches early. You need to start teaching him how to garden early. You need to teach him how to work on cars early. You need to teach him how to be a plumber early. Specify what it is that your child has a talent in and attack it. And attack it. That's how you attack it. You find out what the children are specializing in. You can see it. And this is what black people did for the longest. They seen, child, honey, that child gonna be an entertainer. Child, honey, that child got the green thumb. Child, honey, that boy could work on cars. Child, honey, that boy could play ball. Child, honey, that boy can rap. Child, honey, that boy has an education in this. Child, honey, that girl could do some hair. Child, honey, that girl got a voice. Child, honey, that girl can get dressed. When you find out the things that your child is interested in, attack it head on. Attack it head on. Stop generalizing the education to feel that every kid is going to want to go into the same field of profession by the time that they're old enough to go into that field of profession. If you see your daughter is able to match up outfits into a way that everybody has to speak about the way that your daughter is dressing, get her into the fashion industry. If you see that your son wants to be out there with you when you are building that treehouse, when you are building your clubhouse, when you are building a new room inside of your household, when you are working on sheetrocking, if your son wants to continuously go with you for this, start teaching him that early, because that is a trade, that is a tool that he can keep in the back of his mind that he can always make money off. Walls will always need to be fixed. Construction will always be needed. Fashion will always be needed. Cooking will always be needed. Working on computers will always be needed. Music will always be needed. Teach them into things that will be used for generations to come. Landscaping, generations to come. Setting up gardens in people's backyards, generations to come. Designing outfits for people, generations to come. Deciding headgear for people, generations to come. Doing hair, generations to come. So when you see your kid has a certain talent and a certain aspect and a certain field, attack that directly. Don't force him to learn things that are going to be outside of the subject that he wants to go into. Don't teach her outside of the subject she wants to go into. Find out what she wants to do. Find out what her natural talents are and make her fall in love. Make him fall in love with making money off of the things that come natural to him. Some kids are naturally gifted at building. Some people are naturally gifted at inventing. Some women are naturally gifted at cooking. Some women are naturally gifted at getting dressed. Some men are naturally gifted at getting dressed. They just have a brain that doesn't work like everybody else's. And when you start to notice this, attack it head on, force them to go into that field and teach them how to make this. This right here. Teach them how to make this right away. Right away. A lot of people are struggling taking care of their children when they're doing it by themselves because you're not teaching your kid how to get to $1 early enough, and they could be helping you. They could be hiring other people in the family. They could be getting their niece on board. They could be getting their nephew on board. Slime. You see your kids playing with the slime all day. Wholesale buy the slime, come up with your own packaging, throw it into your own packaging, resell it back to your kids' friends. When you see that your kids like going to the corner stores for the ices, go ahead and invest the $400, $500, $1,000, $1,500 into the icy machine and put it in front of your house and let your kids thrive off the money that they make, but always 50-50 it. So how I'll do it is, whichever one of my kids come up with a business, 50-50. Half of it goes to one kid, half of it goes to another kid. When the second kid starts a business, half of it goes back to the first kid, the other half goes to the other kid. So they will learn to always work together. They will always learn how to thrive off of each other, because 50% of each one of their money came from each other. So goddamn sis, goddamn bro, if we made this much money off of using half of each other's money this whole time, why would we stop now? Why would we stop now? Yo sis, what you thinking about doing? Bro, I want to open up this hair salon. I got 50K into that. What's up? How much more do we need? Yo, bro, what you thinking about doing? Yo, I'm thinking about opening up a landscaping company. I need an extra 10K for that. Yo sis, let me borrow the 10K. Bro, I got you. They will learn how to thrive together. They will learn how to use their economic brain that you've been giving them since they were 6 or 7 to thrive in life, to become economic geniuses, to become moguls, to be able to become the millionaires that you see inside of them. Because the school is going to hinder them from that. The school is going to waste their time teaching them about things that does not help them thrive in the profession that they want to thrive in. They have to wait till they go to college to be able to specialize in it, but you've been sitting in a classroom for 12 years versus getting hands-on training. Black men, if your friend, your cousin, your uncle work in a field that you see that your son like, brings your kid hands-on field trips with your uncle, with your cousin, with your aunt, with your auntie, whatever field they want to go in, bring them to hands-on, do it with that family member. Because that family member can train them to be educated in this field long before they feel they need to be educated in this field. Sisters, if you feel your daughter likes doing hair and you can't do hair, bring them to one of your homegirls who know how to do hair. Let her practice with her. Because what if she becomes better at it and now she can help your friend get a salon? They can now work together. They're 50-50 partners in this company. They're the CEOs of this black-owned company where they only hire black women to come and do the same thing, and they allow for internships. And they allow for internships. So the girls who have to go for their cosmetics degree, the girls who have to go for their makeup, the girls who have to go to learn to be nurses, they could go and get their hands-on training with auntie, with sis, with their family. And that, again, builds the family structure. We're going through a 10-step process on how to properly educate black children. Like the stream, share the stream, tag some people in the stream. A 10-step process. If you missed it, this will be saved on my page, as well as Black People's Solution. I made a group where black people can now vend their products to each other, so we don't have to go and patronize people outside of our race. Hand our money to people that are outside of our race to do a job for us. Black women do nails. Black men cut hair. And now we can go ahead and share this genius with each other. We can now hire each other's children. We can now come into contact with people. Now all the black women that have been looking for good black men and haven't been able to find them, you'll be able to find them in Black People's Solution, because they're focused on the same thing you're focused on. Economic value, family values, all the values that come with building strong black communities. Like the video, share the video, tag some people in the stream. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna do more videos like this. We'll be back again tomorrow to go through another 10-step process on how the adults who fell behind because school failed you. I'm gonna show y'all now how to thrive off of your own talents. So tomorrow, tag back in for the stream. Tap back in for the stream. Get over to lowkeyorganics.com. Get your hair care products. Get your skin products. Get your iron boost. Get your women's formula to clean out the womb. Get your men's formula so y'all don't have to suffer with erectile dysfunction no more. Make sure that y'all like this. Share the stream. Low key, low ski. Over and out. Peace.